Prynawn da pawb, croeso i'r Maximum Outdoors. If you didn't know what that meant, the translate is good afternoon everyone and welcome to Maximum Outdoors. We're back out again with this absolutely beautiful spot in a place called Ystrad. Going quite lightweight, got a 55 litre bag on my back. I've actually taken a tent tonight because I didn't know what the weather was going to do. And I actually didn't know if I was going to be allowed back to this permission that we've been camping in for the past 15 years. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. I'm going to give you a quick overlook of the area. It's absolutely stunning here. I don't know why I keep rubbing my hands on video. I think it's probably just a bit of a buffering state where I don't really know what to say to the camera. But we're on the River Meltday today, which translates from Welsh to English as lightning. And as you can see, there's actually some water in the river, which is unbelievably crystal clear. They call it the Meltday, translated as lightning, because the way that the river actually rises and falls. I've watched this river rise 1.5 meters in an hour when we had torrential storms. Literally, we had a huge storm which stopped, and then it came down here like you wouldn't believe. It's an unbelievable place. It's one of the most naturally beautiful places I've ever been. I haven't seen this fire pit in, I don't know, it's got to be close to 8-9 years. It doesn't look like anyone's been here for a while. We've got little hazels growing out of the fire pit itself. Well, Rob, Bert, then there's one for you. Three little bonsais. We'll plant them later on, and it's always good to give back. I'm going to scrape out this fire pit. We'll get some wood prepped, get my tent up, and might even have a beer. Can't wait to go down there later on and explore. The whole area here is filled with underground caverns and caves that were naturally made during the last ice age. This place would have been completely under ice, about 1 mile thick, and when that ice started eroding and melting, we found cracks in the overlying limestone, creating a whole array of different underground systems. Hopefully we can show you a bit on that subject later, but I'm not going to be going deep underground. I'm on my own. And yeah, let's get on it. Get some wood prepped. Scatter this down into the river. There's nothing in there bar charcoal. I would put it on the land, but I'm not too sure what it's going to look like, so I'm just going to put it in the river and let it flush down. I doubt this has been done for a good, it's 20 years of fire. Pretty warmed up a bit, I tell you that. Been using this plastic bag instead of making multiple trips. Been filling up the plastic bag and carrying a bit more than one shovel full. Getting down to the rocky stuff now, so sorry if you've seen a bit of a thumb crack there. Take another couple of shovelfuls and we'll be done, yeah? So you can see these two little hazel saplings. We're going to go and plant them now and give something back. Too often in this life we take from nature, but we just don't give it back. And the only things we do give back are sort of the wasted resources that we originally took from nature itself, in the way of pollution into rivers. It's quite a strange way of life that we pump back our waste into the very veins of nature. Like, what was that about? The only thing that's keeping us alive, and we just go and chuck our rubbish straight back into its veins, be in the rivers, streams, oceans. It's not on. So I've chosen an area just outside of the glade of hazels, and they're all equally spaced out from like 6 to 8 foot in places, maybe 10 foot. So there's one that's growing by here. It's obviously been seeded from this, so we're going to come 10 foot away and going to plant one here. Just make a little indentation with the entrenching tool and push the roots down nice and deep where the soil is still damp, and we're going to stamp that in, and hopefully come a couple of years I'll be able to see that tree growing. We're going to do the same by here. There we go, we've given back something to nature, and I don't feel too bad about digging those up now. There we are. So if you're new to the channel, this is the Van Gogh Zenith 200. It's a two-man tent, but it's not a two-man tent. It's just big enough for really one man in your kit. You could get 2 people in there, but it'd be a bit of a struggle. I've had this many years. It was my father's, but as you'll see, it's one of the fastest tents that you could ever put up. It's unbelievably quick. We'll show you that now with a bit of magic. And there she is. Told you, magic. Amazing little tent. I've had it for years and years and years. I'm really not sure how long she's got left now, but I put her through her paces. She's been good to me and kept me dry through many storms. I'm not going to stress her tonight by putting up too taut. You don't really get super winds through this part, so yeah. Next step, collect some firewood and get a fire going. So good to be out again. This place is beautiful. Really sad what happened here. Like I said, I haven't been here in many years, so once I've got a fire lit, I think that'll be a story for later on when we crack a beer open. Yeah. We've gone for an upside down fire again today. Since Rob Hudson of Bushcraft showed me the Siberian fire, I've sort of stuck with that throughout. It's just the most efficient fire, but with this backstop, it kind of is a Siberian fire. It's just throwing loads of heat out you eventually. But I've gone for the upside down fire because it's going to give an ease of lighting. Part of me now wants to try a bowdrill. Rob mentioned it to me earlier. It's been on my mind since. Should we go for it? I think we should. A build up of tinders is absolutely essential to this, so we're gonna collect and harvest some of this bracken for a start, and try and create a nest for when I'll say if we do get that ember going off the bowdrill, we want to drop it straight into a nest of dry tinders. It's quite important to get the loose stuff here, and not the stuff closest to the ground, as the dampness will rise throughout it. Really just grab the loose stuff. Watch it though, you might want to use gloves if you've got any to collect this stuff. It really will cut your hands open. There's also some dry There's also a lot of dried, stringy, I don't actually know what it is. We're going to grab a load of that as well. Again, be super careful that you're not picking stuff up with dampness, because it's going to do you in at the end when you finally get an ember going. You're just going to waste all that effort by putting it into damp tinder. But this stuff seems to be quite ample and dry. Don't hold back, this really is the most essential part. So here I've actually collected quite a nice, this is quite compact here, but a nice nest of tinder to collect that initial ember that we'll try and get from the bow drill later on. But we're going to rest this now for here and try and collect the other materials necessary to get a bow drill going. So there's a few key elements to the bow drill itself. First one being the bow. You want a straight piece of, we're going to use hazel today, roughly from the tip of your fingers to the middle of your chest. You don't want to be bending this. You actually want a straight bow and a straight taut string. The reason being that you can really, the bow itself will flex when you're trying to use it. We'll come to this later on. And it will end up bending the drill itself away from where you want it to be, creating friction. It's not as efficient that way. But the second being that string itself, using a guideline off one of my tarps here, this would be quite essentially a hard part to make or forage yourself. It is possible, but maybe not on the same day that you're going to be trying to use a bow. A lot of natural materials anyway. The third will be the half board that we're going to be showing you later, and that will be where the bow itself, the bow drill itself, will be creating friction, and that's where the ember is going to be coming from. And then we're going to have a tray underneath that that's going to be catching that ember, so then we can transfer that into the nest that we've just seen. The last will be the bearing block, which will be used on top of the drill itself, preventing you from taking the friction from the drill. That would be nigh on impossible unless you have hands like Garth. So we're going to get to it, we're going to go and try. As you can see at the bottom of this hazel, there's loads of sprouting branches, and these are essentially the best pieces that you could cut. It's basically hops in the tree, and where you cut one, a new one will grow, so you're not taking too much from the tree itself. We're not too bothered here about it being green again, because the tree will heal itself and sprout a new branch. But we're actually looking for a bit of strength in this bow, and sometimes a dead standing piece would just not suffice. So we're going to take this piece here. I can tell it's roughly the right length. We're going to take it close to the tree and try and make a clean cut to prevent the tree from catching disease. Should be a good bow. I'm going to measure it now to the middle of our chest, and that'll be a great length. There's a dead piece of hazel here that I'm cutting into. I'll use that later for something. So this should be the perfect bow. Quite a nice. This should be a perfect bow. It's got quite a nice handle there. Next, we're going to try and find the half board. So for this we will need a dead piece of wood. We're going to split it and split it again, trying to create a board, and then we'll cut a V-notch in that. You'll see more of this later. I don't know if you just saw that, but I just nipped my finger on the end of the axe, so stupidly. Medic! So unfortunately you can see inside has had this damp core running through it. It's actually gone throughout the wood and it's quite damp in there, so we're going to have to think about something else. The bag on the pile for later. Try and find something else. So okay, the tree just over here, and this one stood up on the tree like so. Just a dead old branch that's broken off, but you can see the core of this is super dry, so I think this will be hopefully pretty good. So we're going to split a board out of this now, see what happens. Bear with me. So we split that out. I'm looking for a bit of thickness here, so we're going to try and use more of the top end of this board itself. Otherwise the bow drill is just going to fly through it. So here we're going to get our, not even do it with the axe, and just make an indentation, which is going to be the start of the drill hole itself. There's somewhere to plant the drill to stop it from sliding up and down the bearing block. I'm not putting too much pressure on this, guys, so don't worry. So the next step then, we're going to cut a V-notch with our knife into that. But I think I'm gonna burn this in first. See what happens there. So on the bow itself, I've made a cut horizontally into the branch here to support this loop, so that it really doesn't come down and slip off the branch. I'm going to do the same down here where the handle is, but now I'm going to wrap basically around here. I'm just going to keep wrapping. I'm going to put this back around here now to stop the string and the string knot from sliding down. Quite a nice taut bowstring. Just going to wrap this up along the handle just to take up the slack from the guy line. I don't want to be tying too many knots in this because I intend to put it back onto my tarpaulin, the military basher. But these wraps will stop the bowstring itself from loosening, I hope. There are all sorts of knots you can do for this, but that's what's happening today on Maxim Outdoors. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find a similar upright to the one that we've used for this bow, but we need a dead standing one because it needs to be dry in order to go into that bearing block, into the half-board side. The bearing block itself doesn't necessarily need to be dry, otherwise sometimes you can get the drill actually creating the ember above the drill and not into the half-board where you're trying to catch. So let's go and do that now. So moving through this glade of hazel here, you're really looking for one of the shoots itself that isn't bearing the green growth of its new leaves. As you can see, like this one here, there's nothing actually on that, and that will break cleanly, but it's just too thin in nature to be any use for what we need it to. So we'll just keep on looking through now and really try and find one about this diameter but dead. So we found the drill that we're looking for. This actually was laid down next to the hazel tree, so I'm hoping this straighter piece here is going to be able to withstand the power that I'm going to put in with the bow drill. I'm going to make this too long. So the one end, which we're going to be using the thicker end, we just want to round off We don't want a sharp point on this. This might be a bit too punky, but we're just going to give this a go anyway. Even if we fail, it'll all be part of the learning curve. Sort of round edge to this. This rounded point. And then on the other edge, yeah, I actually learnt this the other day when watching Rob from Bushcraft do this, and he pointed out to me that the top was sticking into the bearing block because it was too rounded, therefore it was creating friction and sticking and making it a lot harder for him to put any pressure down onto the hearthboard itself. So we're going to learn from that and create more of a sharp point. So that was a really good lesson from Rob. I think this is going to do us well. Hopefully we can get this going. So last but not least, we're gonna find a bearing block, which will be the piece of wood that we need to use to hold the top of this drill itself. So let's go and find one of those. So I had a bit of a brain fart then, realised that the piece that I threw away is going to make the ideal bearing block with that hard damp part. It's going to stop any friction from forming inside there that could possibly take my effort away from creating an ember on the hearthboard. So we're just going to make a little indentation here for that top of that drill itself to sit into, to stop the drill from slipping away. And this is quite thick itself, so I can't see it burning down. It's a nice powerful grip as well, so I really think I'm going to be able to get some good friction down on there, but there's only one way to find out. So sadly, as we're burning the block in, catastrophic failure on the drill, and it was evident anyway because the top was wearing down, which means the inside, the core of that piece was actually too punky and rotten, so we're going to have to bite the bullet and find a new drill. Great. So I found quite a thick branch, so I'm going to try and make quite a lot thicker drill itself, which is going to give me the stability, I think, and the strength to bow it better. And I can tell that this is a lot harder in the top section, and also in the core of it, that it won't wear down like the other one will. So I'm just going to round this edge off a bit more, try and make it a bit more circular, cylindrical, whatever. Just try and get some of the edges off to stop the bow from bouncing so much. I also found that the bark really does not help on the drill, so again, this is always a learning curve for me. It's not something that I practice too often. I have done it quite a few times before, but you hardly do it with foraged materials. So now we've got that polished in, I'm going to make that essential V-knot that we've spoken about into this here. I am burning down through this quite rapidly, so be really careful there. You want this V-knot, the V notch, just into that depression itself. Be super careful when doing this, guys, it's so easy to slip. Don't get too deep though. This is to allow the dust to fall down into the catchment tray so the ember can be formed. I think we're going to stop there. Try that. this is all about perseverance every single time, and you're not always going to be able to do it, and it's not something you should feel bad for. Sometimes the environment is just too damp. Sometimes it's not, you're not able to find the woods. They can't be ready available. I think a lot of the time it's just key to try and get into a comfy position as well, to be able to get that ember going. Being relaxed when you're doing it. Kind of like anything in life, it's technique, no power really needed. Come on. Oh, right, we gotta transfer this now, quickly. Out, hot, quickly. Right, be so quick about this. Get some little bits of tinder on there. You don't want to lose it at this stage, not after all that effort. So yeah, petrol's pretty good. Watch your eyebrows. Oh my god, that was so hard. I feel fatigued, feel tired and hungry, but reward. That took many efforts. Guys, I can't tell you the effort I went to get that going. I mean, that took the best part of 2.5 hours with losing light. I've still got a lot of stuff to do, but I think it's crack a beer o'clock. So, we are aptly drinking thirsty fare, because I am thirsty. I got a vegetable casserole to cook later on. Let's just chill out and enjoy it, guys. That was hard work. My back's killing. I can't describe to you how good that is. So I'm going to set my bed up, prepare the vegetables. This fire's going to take a while to die down a bit so I can cook on it, but we're winning. We're back in the God's pocket now, so we're going to do a quick little review of the sleep system I'm using today. So we've got a Wild Country zip bivvy bag, army shoe. Inside that we've got a snug pack, black on back, 2-season sleeping bag. It's got a rating down to 0 degrees. Shouldn't go that cold tonight. And underneath there we've got the Old Faithful Thermarest Neo Air. So I've got a space blanket that I'm going to put inside my tent on the ground, and this will all be going on top. I've either made the right decision about a two-seating bag, or I've royally messed up. We'll find out later tonight. So here's another thing that you're going to look forward to, that I'm going to be reviewing shortly, which Dolly is actually on. This is the Sun Blazer head torch. Right, this thing only weighs 45 grams, guys. It's ridiculously light, and honestly, it's going to blow your mind when I review this of how bright this really is. It's incredible light for the price. So when the time comes, you'll be seeing a nice review of that. No. Right guys, I'm going to have to apologise in advance if this video comes to a short abrupt end, as I forgot to charge my second battery, so I put it in the camera and it's pretty much zero flat. But in here we've got a vegetable broth that we're talking about. I've stoked up the fire for the last time tonight. I'm going to crack open my second beer shortly. There's just a whole array of vegetables: beans, carrots, garlic, onions, peppers, potatoes. So guys, excuse the condensation. We are in the tent. It is absolutely night time. I'll see you in the morning. Thank you for watching. Oh, good morning. Slept like a brick. So the fire was still burning last night, and it died off this morning, but it hasn't fully gone out. I put some more bracken and a few of the charred sticks on top, and hopefully now with a blow all will be well. Alright, get a brew on, get some sausage sandwiches on, and start the day. So in here guys is just a mixture of coffee, milk and sugar, and then I obviously just take enough to add shots to boiling water. It's a quick and easy little hack there to stop saving us to save taking multiple ingredients. It's a really nice cup of tea. Slept quite hard last night. Still got the sausages to eat yet, but after that we're going to pack up all our stuff. I'm going to go and chuck that into the vehicle. I'm going to take you for a quick walk down the gorge. Hopefully we've got enough battery life on the camera. I'm trying to keep the battery in my pocket in between shots to keep it from the cold. And if I can muster the guts, I'm going to go for a wild swim in a super secret location down there. It's one of the most beautiful spots I've ever been to, so I'm not promising anything yet. It's cold. I washed my hands in the river. It is cold. Yum yum yum. Yum yum yum. So we made our way over to the pool. As you can see down there, the water is absolutely gin clear. Somehow I'm going to find my way down and get in there. So wish me luck, because it's going to be absolutely freezing. The whole temperature is a lot colder down here. I don't know if you can see the steam there, but it's not warm. Right, somehow I'm going to have to get down here. This isn't going to be pretty. Oh my goodness. Woo! That's alright. Toad it. Oh my god. Woo! No, that is cold. Oh. Oh my god. Sex change. Woo! If you haven't subscribed by now, make sure you do. I'm going in. thanks for watching. Right, I'm going to spend the rest of the day now looking for my manhood. There wasn't much to see in the first place, but look at this place, man. Much love from Max Outcast. See you on the next one. How am I going to get up here? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, rock climbing after cold depth. Nice.